What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat basketball channel. My name is Amir. And before I get into today's video, I just want to thank everybody for subscribing to the channel and showing support. I'm on my way to 200 subscribers. So if you can hit that sub button, I would really appreciate it. So for today's video, I want to talk about Dame Lillard, and I want to talk about some NBA insiders and former players who have been talking smack on the Miami Heat. So not much has been going on in the past week regarding Damian Lillard. Nothing new, at least. It's been 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks since Damian Lillard requested a trade on July 1st. And we all know that Dame has selected Miami as the only team he wants to go for. We've all read the reports about his agent, Goodwin, saying that, if any other team tries to trade for Damian Lillard, he's simply not going to show up. They're going to get a disgruntled superstar. So I think that's definitely deterred some folks. That's a piece, at least. The other piece or reason why other teams are not directly participating actively in the Damian Lillard sweepstakes is also because of his age and his contract. So it was his birthday 4 days ago or so, and he just turned 33 years old. And so he has 4 years left on his $210 million contract, as we all know. And the big issue is, if Dame's not on a contending team, does his contract make sense for a team to acquire him when he's going to be 36 and 37 years old? He's going to be making over $60 million per year. So, and I think those are the two biggest factors, just him not wanting to go into any other team and his age / contract. So anyway, again, nothing new there, but I believe yesterday or 2 days ago, Shams of the Atlantic on TV basically said that there are no real updates, no real traction on a deal for Damian Lillard. He said, what I'm told by the Portland Trailblazers is they've told the Miami Heat, make us your best offer. So I just want to show this 1 minute clip real quick so you guys can see for yourselves.
It's been stagnant as far as the process there, and it's really up to the Blazers and the Heat. That the Heat are the team that Damian Lillard wants to go to. And what I'm told Portland has told Miami is this: make your best offer to us. And the sides have spoken recently, but nothing significant has come to it. And when you look at potential packages from Miami to Portland, you look at expiring contracts, perhaps a young player like Nikola Jovic, 3 to 4 first-round picks where Tyler Hero would be going to a third team. That third team would send 1 or 2 first-round picks to Miami, and they would, add their 2 first-round picks as well, potentially second-rounders, swaps as well. So for someone with Damian Lillard's contract, 4 years, over $210 million left on his deal, for a rebuilding team like Portland, that's a pretty sound get. But if you think about all those first-round picks, other assets you can get, potentially a young player as well, that's sound value. But so far, Portland has not elected to really engage with Miami and try to solicit best offers.
As you could see in the clip, Shams said that the Miami Heat and the Portland Trailblazers are at a stalemate, and that they haven't really been negotiating. But he thinks one of the offers that the Heat could potentially offer, and there's been, I guess, conflicting reports of what that offer has been. Shams said a week or so ago, there is a framework in place. We obviously know that Cronin wants 4 first-round picks. He wants some young players, a ready now or win now player, as he said in the past. So we already know the framework of what Miami Heat needs to do in order to get to those 4 picks. They have 2 themselves. They can get 1 more by unlocking a pick, and then they can get 1 more from a third team like the Nets for trading Tyler Hero. They potentially can even get 2. Who knows? I mean, Tyler Hero is definitely a good player. He's averaged 20 points per game in the last 2 seasons. He was a 6th man of the year. He's definitely a good asset. He's 23 years old. His contract is not horrendous. It's not the most ideal, but I mean, all these inflated contracts are given to all sorts of players. That's just the nature of the business. So we already know that framework. It's been said that the Heat have offered Hero along with 3 picks and like a Duncan Robinson. But Shams was saying a package like 3 first round picks from the Heat, one more from another team for Hero, adding in a young player. So most likely a Jovic, possibly a Jaime Jaquez, one or the other, and maybe filler. So that filler could be like a Robinson, um, or even better, a Kyle Lowry who's on an expiring contract. He's making close to 30 million next year. So that's a sound get according to Shams, as we heard, right? He thinks that's a pretty good haul for a team that knows that their superstar, their franchise player, does not want to be a part of that team and be a part of that rebuild. And so the Heat, I'm not sure if the Heat have offered Jovic at this point. So maybe the stalemate is that the Heat have not offered that young asset plus the filler that they want. Because I'm not sure if they rather have Kyle Lowry on an expiring contract, which is good for a rebuilding team because it opens up salary cap for the future, or if they would want Duncan Robinson, who has a few years left on his contract. But he is a good shooter. He is relatively young. He's 26, 27. So not sure, but I think this game of chicken that we're seeing right now is because Pat Riley, Mickey, Andy Ellsberg, they know that they're the only show in town right now. They're not competing against other teams presently, and so I don't think they have provided their best offer. And I don't think their best offer is going to fulfill what Cronin wants. We're not going to give them the 4 picks plus Caleb Martin plus Jovic plus Kyle Lowry. I don't think we're going to deliver on that. So especially because Dame has not said, okay, fine, I'm open to going to the Clippers or the Celtics or insert any other team here. So because of that, the Heat have the leverage. They don't have all the leverage, obviously, because Portland has the player, but he doesn't want to play for the Portland Trailblazers. So we have the leverage right now because he wants to come to Miami, and we're the only team. So we have the leverage. I think Miami will bump up their offer. And Greg Sylvander, in another video I posted, mentioned that the Heat will probably give 4 first-round picks, 3 technically, and then Tyler Hero to get the 4th, as I've been saying over and over again, and Nikola Jovic and Duncan Robinson is the deal. And I'm okay with that. If we have to give another piece, I don't think I'm going to be okay with that. Unless that piece is like a Haywood Highsmith along with Duncan and Jovic. But even then, I think that's too much. We have the leverage. So nothing new, I guess, on the Damian Lillard front. That's the latest, though, according to Shams. So now we're just playing the waiting game. The next biggest, I think, timeline is training camp, right? Camp starts end of September. So we're in the dog days of summer right now. I'm hoping that we can get this accomplished sooner than later. I predicted that this would happen during the summer league or after the summer league. And I don't want this to extend beyond training camp. So I'm hoping we can get this done sometime soon, but definitely before training camp so we can get Lillard on board so we could start integrating with his teammates, learning the playbook, and get into the system. So that's all I have on the Damian Lillard front. I'm just patiently waiting like all Miami Heat fans are. And again, I think it's going to happen. I think this is more of a when rather than an if Damian Lillard gets traded to the Heat. So that's all I got for that. The other thing I wanted to talk about, and it might be a little late, but Paul Pierce 5-6 days ago mentioned on TV that he thinks if the Miami Heat do in fact get Damian Lillard, that they're not even going to make it past the first round. Like, what a clown. Like, if you're a Miami Heat fan and you don't hate Paul Pierce, there's something wrong with you because he hates the Miami Heat clearly due to that rivalry he had with the Heat during the Big Three era. And, you know, he's simply not a fan. He's doubling down, talking crap, which I love and understand because I talk shit on Paul Pierce too, as all Heat fans should do. But simply a clown. Like, what is he thinking? Like, the Heat made it to the finals last year. And I know we were an 8th seed apparently. But and that's because we lost a playing game, but that's also because we were the third most injured team last year. I don't think we would have been the eighth seed or seventh seed last season if we weren't injured. Um, so, yeah, even so, we made it to the finals last year. And if we had Damian Lillard, we're clearly going to be a better team than we were last year with all of our undrafted players, as ESPN and ABC kept mentioning during every playoff game, Miami Heat and their undrafteds playing above their heads, right? Like, we're going to be a better team if we acquire Damian Lillard. That is going to be a very cohesive and strong big three. And Dame will fit in like a glove on this roster. So the fact that he said that, I mean, he has to be clowning. He can't be serious. Like, if he said they're not going to win a championship, that's fine. Like, there's no guarantee. Who knows if he, for some reason, doesn't fit in? There's no chemistry there, or if someone gets hurt. I mean, that the NBA playoffs are a crapshoot to a certain degree. There's been so many significant injuries over the past 7-8 years. Think of Kyrie, Love on the Cavs getting hurt. Think of um, Kawhi Leonard getting hurt on the Spurs when they were playing against the Warriors. Think about Klay Thompson and KD both getting hurt on the Warriors. Kawhi and Paul George, it seems like every year when they're on the Clippers, have been hurt. Miami, we've had Jimmy, Bam, Hero. There's been so many players that have been injured. So there is a chance of that. But anyway, if he said the Heat might not win, that's fine. That's not a crazy take. But saying they won't even get out of the first round, dude's a loser. I freaking hate that guy. He is an NBA champion, and I honestly didn't hate him prior to the rivalry against the Heat during the Big Three area because I hate the Lakers the most. Just I despise them across every single team more than the Yankees or the Celtics, even like against any like major big market team that just buys their way into championships. So not a fan of the Lakers, and I was rooting for Boston to win against the Lakers during that rivalry between the Celtics, their big three, against Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant and the rest of the Fakers. So didn't hate him before, but then I started hating him during that stretch against the big three where we met each other in the playoffs 3 years in a row. And he also pissed off all Miami Heat fans years back when he said that he thought he was a better player than Dwayne Wade, which is simply a joke. I think that's even a bigger joke than saying that the Miami Heat are not going to get out of the first round in the Eastern Conference playoffs. I think that's even more comical, honestly. He was on a segment when he said that, and Jalen Rose just like smoked him. He's like, okay, well, he has 3 championships and you only have 1. He's been on the all defensive team 2 times or 3 times to your 0. He's an 11 or 12 time All-Star to your 8. Just literally he said he's a finals MVP and you're not. Like, he just like named all of the accolades, and Paul Pierce was silent. So we obviously know that that Dwayne Wade is a way better guard than Paul Pierce. He's the 3rd best shooting guard in my opinion of all time. Paul Pierce, he's up there, but he's not 3. Might be like 8. I don't know. James Harden, who I also hate the most, my most hated current NBA player. I think he might be even better, and he's the biggest choke artist. That guy's B Rabbit from 8 Mile. Harden chokes every single postseason. His shooting percentages drop historically. The guy goes clubbing in between games on his day off instead of relaxing, eating healthy, and chilling. Like, if you want to go have a glass of wine like a LeBron does or a Jimmy Butler, like after a game, like have a glass or 2, that's fine. But this guy's out clubbing until 4 in the morning at strip clubs. Harden is a bigger clown, I think, than Harden's a bigger clown than I think Paul Pierce is. And I still think Harden's a better basketball player than Paul Pierce, definitively. So anyway, enough of Paul Pierce and that loser. The other guy who actually I don't hate, Kendrick Perkins, also yesterday, we're talking about how far they think the Miami Heat can get next year. And he said that if the Miami Heat trade for Damian Lillard, not when, but if, it's going to be when, he still thinks that the Miami Heat aren't going to even get out of the Eastern Conference. So not as bad of a take as Paul Pierce saying they won't win the first round. He doesn't think they can get out of the East. He still thinks that teams like the Celtics and the Bucks have a better shot and are a better team. And Kendrick has shown support for the Heat over the last 4 years, I would say, dating back to the bubble, calling Miami Heat them goons from Dade County, saying Bam out of the bayou, repping Bam, supporting Bam and Jimmy Butler. I do like Kendrick Perkins kind of. He's a funny character, but him saying that I think is also dumb. Like saying we have no shot. Like, of course, the Bucks are a great team. They were unlucky again, like many teams in the playoffs, where Giannis got hurt in game one. He missed 2.5 games. If he was healthy, could they have possibly beat the Heat in the first round? Of course. But that's just the luck of the draw. Everybody has to deal with injuries. But still, I still don't think that by us improving that drastically with Damian Lillard that the Bucks will beat us. I'm biased, of course, but we beat them 2 out of the last 3 times we played them in the playoffs in 4 years. And we did that with mediocre teams. They were always like the top seed, and they've had Giannis, who's been a top 3 player in the NBA for the last 4 years. And in the bubble, when we beat them in the first round, we were the 5th seed. We were the 5th seed that made it to the finals. And this year we were the 8th seed, technically 7th seed, but we still were able to beat them. And if you add Damian Lillard, we're going to be a top 3 seed for sure in the Eastern Conference. And we're going to have that quality star power to match up with Giannis and Middleton and Holiday. So we could definitely beat them. And we have Boston's number, it seems like, too. I mean, like, I know not this last season, but the year before, the Heat lost in 7. We had home court, and I know we blew it, but like we were dealing with injuries then. Jimmy Butler missed a game and a half. Tyler Hero missed a game. Kyle Lowry was coming off injury too. So again, using that excuse, like we could have beat them 3 times in a row in the Eastern Conference Finals. We were just unfortunate they were unable to. But either way, I think that's a crazy take that he thinks that we won't make it past those teams. I think we will. So that's all I had for today's video. So really appreciate your guys' time. If you can, again, subscribe to the channel. That would mean a lot. So thanks again. I'm going to come back with another video, I think, tomorrow regarding Christian Wood. I've already made a few videos about that, but now it seems like there's mutual interest in Christian Wood signing with the Heat. So more to come on that later. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you soon.